5. I'm your anchor, Wanda.
And I'm Shirley. And today's first story, containing communism abroad. With China and the Soviet Union spreading communism like wildfire, the United States and other free nations have decided to join together to fight a common enemy. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, otherwise known as NATO, provides just this protection.
However, the formation of NATO led to the Soviet Union and Eastern European satellites to form a competing military alliance called the Warsaw Pact. With the Soviet Union now possessing the power of the atomic bomb, President Truman is calling for more powerful super bombs to combat the Soviets. But there is some controversy over the effectiveness of this hydrogen weapon.
The NSC-68 plan is also going to be put into effect. This calls for major military expansion in order to annihilate the Soviets. In other news, Chiang Kai-shek's forces have fled China, and the United States' efforts to contain Mao have proven utterly fruitless.
And with our next story, war in Korea. On June 25, 1950, the Communist North Korean forces invaded South Korea. These tensions were heightened because of the recent split of Korea in the Democratic People's Republic in the north, backed by the Soviet Union, and the Republic of Korea in the south, supported by both the U.S. and the UN. The invasion shocked America, and we spent about 3 months unable to stop the advance of communism. America's first line of defense was to be its island bases in both Japan and the Philippines. This, however, was changed when, in January 1950, Arkansas gave a speech that excluded Korea from the defensive perimeter. As a result, this left South Korea vulnerable with only the UN to back them. This encouraged the North to attack, and so they did in June 1950. Northern troops crossed the border and crumbled the Southern troops.
Truman, with the backing of the UN Security Council, but without congressional approval, sent troops into Korea. He also ordered the adoption of the NSC-68 as soon as possible. General MacArthur was placed in command of the troops. He effectively landed 2 divisions ashore at Incheon, behind the enemy lines. America had intention of restoring the original pre-war border, but South Korea had a different idea. MacArthur proposed that the North must be captured. And so, on September 30th, the South crossed into the North. The UN was close behind, crossing the border on October 7th. From there, Truman authorized MacArthur to advance as far as the Yalu River. By November, Southern Korea thought that they could end the war in a matter of months. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Army General Omar Bradley, said a conflict with China would be the wrong war in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong enemy. Things took a turn for the worst on November 25th as the Americans were advancing toward the river. 33 Chinese divisions attacked MacArthur's lines. This forced MacArthur's troops to retreat.
MacArthur, angered by this situation, urged that he be permitted to bomb the Chinese installations north of the Yalu River. Truman was quick to reject the idea because he believed that it could lead to an outbreak of a Third World War. MacArthur, determined to crush Northern forces, continued to ask Congress to take forceful actions against Northern Korea. His persistence, however, led him to being removed from his command position.
Americans were beginning to become angry and disheartened. The tide seemed to be turning when communists agreed to discuss an armistice in Korea. Unfortunately, the war came to a sudden halt while the armistice was being negotiated. Things were not settled until 1953.
Hey, it's Hasbro. Hasbro makes toys. What's new, Hasbro?
Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head with their own cars and trailers. That's what's new. See, Mr. Potato Head has a car and boat trailer. And there's a car and shopping trailer for his wife, Mrs. Potato Head. It's such fun to do and so easy. Like this. Take any fruit or vegetable. Just stick in eyes, then ears, and then the mouth. You can make the funniest looking people in the whole world. Potato Head people look different every time you make them. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head with cars and trailers come in $1 and $2 sizes.
What else is new, Hasbro?
A vanity case with toy cosmetics and beautiful accessories and real-looking doctor and nurse kits.
Hasbro makes great toys. It's fun to play with Hasbro.
And for our next story, the communist issue at home. Right here, in the United States, communists are everywhere. They are also roaming about Canada and Great Britain. This needs to be put to an end. Truman is not helping with the problem either. He is too soft on the communists. Along with the spread of communists comes the fear of danger of spies. Truman recently established the Loyalty Review Board to make sure government employees are not spies. The Loyalty Review Board weeded out many government workers accused of being communists. However, a lot have been falsely accused and also many have resigned. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg and Morton Sobel are great examples of spies in our country. They were found guilty of telling Soviets atomic secrets. Judge Irving Kaufman scolded, "I consider your crime worse than murder." The case of Whittaker Chambers accusing Alger Hiss, president of Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, and a former State Department official, of being a communist was just solved. When Hiss denied being a communist, Chambers showed that Hiss had copied classified documents for dispatch to Moscow. Hiss was then sentenced to 5 years in jail. This is causing fear that many others could be communists as well.
I say they are lying, dirty, shrewd, godless, murderous, determined, and it is not an American political party like any other. It's an outlawed organization, taking its orders and instructions from another government to do everything possible to destroy our government. It's an international criminal conspiracy.
And now to our next topic, McCarthyism. Recently, in Wheeling, West Virginia, a powerful speech made by Senator Joseph R. McCarthy has caused a major national scare. McCarthy claimed the State Department to be infested with communists. "I have here in my hand a list of 205 names that are known to be Secretary of State as being members of the Communist Party," he stated. Although there were no specific names given, the fears of nearly all Americans have been roused.
I address you with neither rancor nor bitterness. In the fading twilight of life, with but one purpose in mind, to serve my country.
The thought of people supporting the very government we are trying to contain is overwhelming. He has even began accusing experts such as Professor Owen Lattimore, an innocent general marshal, of being communist. With communism being such a serious threat currently, accusations such as these have caused everyone to trust no one. McCarthy has become the most popular person in Congress since his speech at Wheeling, which is definitely a step up from his previous unethical abuses in Wisconsin Congress.
Who would elect this man to senator?
I don't even know.
Lassie, are you hungry? This is how Lassie felt on normal dog food, but now that I've bought her Lassie's dog chow, she'll never feel this way again. Lassie, are you hungry now? Lassie, dinner! Buy Lassie dog chow for your dog today, and never make them feel neglected again.
And for our final story of the night, let's talk about our newest president, Dwight D. Eisenhower. As Dwight Eisenhower has become our newest president, Americans seem more confident in our future. He swept the defeat over Democratic candidate Aldi Stevenson easily and with geniality and trust. If there is one word that people would use to describe Eisenhower, it would be trust. Americans solidly believe that he will avoid controversy and end the war in Korea. He completely contrasts Truman in many ways. His main plan is to run the administration on a rigorous business principles such as reducing federal spending to balance the budget, cutting taxes, and more local control of government affairs. In some ways, he can remind us of George Washington and how he likes to accommodate everyone and avoid partisan conflicts and difficult issues. Despite no political experience, Eisenhower seems to be a great politician. With the conservatism he displays, he may become one of our first progressively moderate presidents. One thing is for sure, Dwight Eisenhower seems to be a good choice for America at this time, for he will accommodate our needs without any conflicts.